What's going on, y'all, and welcome back to another episode of the JuiceBox presented by LOCKCITY. It's Whitey here today. Happy Sunday. Hopefully everyone's having a good weekend, whether you're watching football, watching Counter-Strike this morning, so on and so forth, whatever the case may be. Today we have episode, I believe it's 245 of the JuiceBox, but regardless, it's going to be a continuation into PGL Bucharest. We're going to talk about our results today, how teams did, I guess, overall in terms of results today, and then, of course, we will look at games for tomorrow, and we've eyed out some bets already for tomorrow. So without further ado, let's just kind of get into it. That's matches for tomorrow, so let's first talk about results here. So overall, this is what we're looking at in terms of results. We did have Gentlemates, unfortunately, on the money line first thing in the morning, so that did kill two of our plays. We did have Liquid here on the money line. GamerLegion we had on the money line. BetBoom we had on the money line. And then the other four we didn't bet on, but Aurora beat fnatic 2-0. Bait beat Astralis 2-0. That was great. 3D Max beat Saw 2-0. And Heroic beat Ninjas in Pyjamas 2-0. So overall, we looked exactly like this. We went 1-2 overall. Obviously, we cashed the 2-leg with both Liquid and GamerLegion there. That was 2 units to pay just shy of 5 units, which basically made up for the other 2 plays there. So 1-2 overall, we are down a total of 0.03 units, or $3 for you $100 bettors. If you're a $10 bettor, you went down 30 cents, unfortunately. So we'll look forward to tomorrow's plays. Let's hop over, look at what we are looking at in terms of a schedule here. They just released this about 6 minutes ago. I saw odds freshly on Thunderpick as of about 3 minutes ago. Placed some bets and we were hopping into it. I already knew based on the matchups who I was going to end up taking here. But in terms of matchup time, same sort of deal. We got 2 at 4 o'clock if you're in Eastern time, 2 at 4 o'clock, 2 at 7 o'clock, 2 at 10 o'clock, and 2 at 1 o'clock. So let's hop over to Thunderpick and see what we have on the board here for tomorrow. For those of you that watch the videos regularly, you know that all of the odds that will be discussed in today's video will be on thunderpick.io, which is one of the top books in the world for esports betting. You can deposit on Thunderpick using crypto, credit card, Apple Pay, Visa Debit, or via their new gift card deposit, which allows you to purchase and deposit a Thunderpick gift card amount directly to your balance. And Thunderpick has lines for all of your favorite esports, including but not limited to CS2, League, Dota, Valorant, Overwatch, COD, Fortnite, Rocket League, and so much more. If you visit tinyurl.com/LockCityTP, you can get a 100% deposit match on your first deposit all the way up to $600 or whatever the equivalent is in your local currency. Any amount that you deposit up to $600 will get immediately matched by Thunderpick for you to be able to use for your esports picks. We've obviously been super profitable on CS2, but with that deposit bonus, you can always try your luck with some of your other favorites with that free money to play with. That's tinyurl.com/LockCityTP for a 100% deposit bonus at Thunderpick up to $600. Alrighty, y'all. So we are going to have 4 picks on the board for tomorrow. I'm just going to go straight single bets across the board. We'll try and pick up a little bit of profit here. I don't want to go down a measly 0.03 units again here. So we're going to be running 4 singles and see if we can get some nice early profit built up over the first couple of days of the tournament. The first 2 that we're going to talk about at 4 o'clock here are going to be Legacy -1.5 map spread and GamerLegion on the money line. Firstly, we'll talk about Legacy just because it's up top here. So Legacy is playing Gentlemates. Didn't like what we saw out of Gentlemates today. Gentlemates doesn't really do well in morning matches either. Legacy seems to thrive in these first thing in the morning. I guess for them it's like 10 a.m. probably. But whatever time it is in Bucharest, 10, 11 in the morning, one of the first matches of the morning, Legacy seems to play well in those positions, whereas on the Gentlemate side of things, they do not. Public consensus, obviously super overrepresented in terms of Brazilians, always the case whenever we see a Brazilian team on HLTV, so take that with a grain of salt, but I do think that Legacy wins this. If we want to talk maps, we're not going to see Dust 2, but Legacy would win that. We're not going to see Overpass, but Gentlemates would win that. I think Legacy takes Mirage. I think Legacy could take Inferno. I think Legacy could take Train. Ancient and Nuke, are going to be the spots where we have to keep an eye on here for Gentlemates. I expect Gentlemates to probably pick into Ancient. When we saw what happened when these teams met last time, Ancient was really close. Gentlemates won that 13-11, and then Gentlemates wiped the floor with Legacy on Mirage 13-4. I don't think the same thing's going to be the case here. I think they kind of caught Legacy off guard there on Mirage on that 13-4 win. I think that Legacy would beat Gentlemates on Mirage this time around. I think that Legacy would win the majority of these maps. Again, the one that sticks out to me is Ancient, but Legacy played them close on Ancient last time. I'm going to be going with Legacy -1.5 map spread based on form, based on how these teams were looking. I know I faded Legacy today. It ended up working out. But for tomorrow, we're going to go Legacy -1.5 map spread. I think they get the job done here against Gentlemates fairly convincingly. The next one that we're going to talk about is going to be GamerLegion on the money line against Pain Gaming. So this is also a 4 a.m. game, one of the first ones in the morning here. Let's see what public consensus is. Oh, nice. That's heavier toward GamerLegion than I would have thought. I thought we were going to get a lot of Brazilian representation for Pain there, but I do think that GamerLegion would win Dust 2. We're not going to see Mirage. We're probably not going to see Overpass because GamerLegion has a weaker train. I would imagine that Pain is going to ban Overpass here. I think that GamerLegion wins Ancient. I think that GamerLegion wins Inferno. I think that GamerLegion wins Dust 2. I think Train, if Pain doesn't ban it, GamerLegion could potentially exploit it because Pain doesn't play it a lot. If they leave Overpass, I think GamerLegion would win Overpass. So I'm going to be taking GamerLegion on the money line here. I think it's pretty safe. I like how they've been playing with Hypex here. I don't trust Pain at all. Give me GamerLegion on the money line. The next one that we'll talk about is going to be 7 o'clock a.m. Eastern time. That's going to be Heroic and BetBoom. I'm going to take over 2.5 total maps here, so let's talk about it. I think this one's going to be very close, probably match of the day from like a viewer's perspective. I think this is going to be some really good CS and some entertaining CS. If we want to scroll down, public consensus pretty much split, basically 50-50. It's 52-48. If we want to look at the maps down here, it's pretty 50-50 as well. I think Heroic is probably going to pick into, it could vary, to be honest. Potentially Overpass, potentially Dust 2. Inferno's going to get banned by BetBoom. Heroic's going to ban Train. I would imagine that BetBoom's going to pick Nuke. I expect them to win Nuke. And then if Heroic takes Overpass, I think they would win Overpass. If Heroic takes Dust 2, I think they probably win Dust 2. I don't see BetBoom winning this 2-0. I'm going over 2.5 maps in this one. The last time that these teams played, it was way back in July, but it was close as well. Heroic had a different roster, not really relevant. But I do think this goes over 2.5 maps. xCloud was playing out of his mind today. I think this is going to be really close. Again, probably the match of the day, from a viewer's perspective. But I'm going to be going over 2.5 total maps on that one. And then the last one here, I swear to God, if they screw me on this, I'm never going to bet Aurora again. But I'm going to go Aurora against Liquid just because they're in an underdog spot here. I don't think that Liquid, how they've been playing, warrants for them to be a favorite against one of the top 10 teams in the world. If we want to pull up Aurora and Liquid here in terms of map pool, wow, public consensus 65% Aurora. I would have to agree. When lines opened here, on some of these books, Aurora was like a super heavy favorite, but then if we go over to Thunderpick now, unless things have changed. Okay, now Aurora's back in the favorite spot actually, but they opened as an underdog. They were 1.95 times your money not that long ago, so if they creep back up like above 1.85, I definitely think that's a sweet spot for them. It seems like with odds just coming out, this is moving relatively quickly, but we grabbed them at 1.95 times our money over here on the right hand side. I think that's a really good spot for them. Them being an underdog against Liquid is outrageous. I know that Liquid's been playing okay, but I don't think they're going to upset Aurora here. If they do, that's great. I would love to see them upset Aurora, but I don't think that's going to happen here. This is kind of a bittersweet moment because I'm either going to win the bet and be upset that Aurora won, or I'm going to lose the bet and be happy that Liquid won. But either way, Aurora does not deserve to be an underdog against Liquid. I'm going to be going with Aurora. 1.95 times our money is the last leg. Again, if you can get it above 1.85, I think that's good value. Sitting around 1.8 isn't bad either. I think that's justifiable in terms of odds, but if you want to get a sweet spot on it, see if it creeps up again. All right, y'all, those are going to be the 4 plays that we have on the board here for tomorrow. Wishing everybody some luck. If you end up playing your own plays there, let me know in the comments down below. Thank y'all for listening. Like and subscribe if you like the content that you've been getting, and we'll see y'all back here tomorrow for some more PGL Masters. Peace.